It all started with a text, right? Chick at Mark's work, Sarah, was being way too damn friendly. Real subtle, but totally obvious she was interested. I didn't get all jealous or anything, I just had a better idea. So when Mark walked in and saw what I'd set up, I looked up, smiled, and said, "Come here, this part's for you." Before we dive in, y'all know the drill. Hit like, hit subscribe. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. You're about to see what it's all about. So buckle up. Mark was already gripping the sheets when I went down on him again. My lips did their thing, tracing the path I knew drove him wild. I loved watching his chest rise, the way his breath caught, like he was drowning. It made me want him more. Every sigh, twitch, reaction. It was all for me. I knew what he liked, how to keep him right there on that edge until he just lost it completely. By the time I climbed back on top, his eyes were all glazed over, his hands moving over my hips like he couldn't decide whether to hold on tight or just let go. He didn't have to decide. I took care of it. And when he finally did, pulling me in close, whispering my name like it was a prayer, I smiled. After we just kind of collapsed, a tangled mess of skin and breath. Sheets ended up on the floor naturally. "Damn, Becca, you're unreal," he mumbled, trying to catch his breath. That might have been the best ever. I leaned over him, kissed his chest, and grinned. "You say that every time." He smirked. "Oh, well, you keep proving me right." I pushed up on one elbow and grabbed his phone off the nightstand. "Actually, there's something I want to show you. Saw this move the other night. Think you'll like it." I unlocked the screen, but before I could find the video, a text popped up. "Mark, you were so funny today. I swear you always make my day better." I paused. Sophie. I clicked on the text thread, just curious. Her messages weren't like explicit. Nothing anyone could point to and say, "That's inappropriate." But the tone, the timing, the damn emojis, the way she was constantly complimenting him. There was no mistaking it. She wasn't just being friendly, she was interested. And what surprised me the most was Mark. He wasn't exactly flirting back, but he wasn't shutting it down either. He seemed amused, flattered, and maybe he liked the attention. "You know this girl's flirting with you, right?" I said, scrolling through the texts. He glanced over, still out of breath. "Who is Sarah from work?" "You always make my day better." "Come on." He squinted at the phone. "Nah, that's just Sarah being nice." I smirked. "Really? Is it normal for her to say you light up her afternoons and send winky faces?" He laughed. "Guess I never thought about it like that." "She's not exactly subtle," I said, leaning over him again. "And you're not exactly stopping her." "Didn't think it meant anything," he said, still grinning. "It's kind of flattering, I guess." I leaned in close, dropping my voice. "So you like being the office crush, huh?" His eyes widened, caught between guilt and amusement. "What? No. I mean, maybe a little." I grinned, dragging my fingers down his chest. "Don't worry, babe. I get it. I'd flirt with you too." "You do," he said, grinning back. I kissed him softly, then whispered, "And now I'm going to show you something even better." He raised an eyebrow. "Better than what we just did?" I didn't answer. I just slid lower down his body, real slow. This time, keeping eye contact as I moved between his thighs. He looked stunned, curious, eager, a little nervous. I tilted my head and said, "Want to try this thing I saw? Let me handle it." The next morning, I woke up alone. Mark had left early. To meet some client, he wouldn't be at the office. Sarah would. I lay in bed for a bit, replaying those texts in my head, the emojis, the way she just leaned into every compliment. I could just picture her laughing way too hard at his stupid jokes, bumping his arm, looking for any excuse to talk to him. And I wasn't jealous, I was curious. Mark had no clue what she wanted, but I did. And I also knew what he would want, what he'd never admit out loud but would lose his mind if it actually happened. And me? I'd be lying if I said I hadn't wondered. So I picked up my phone and sent the text. Hey, any chance you're free this afternoon? Just want to talk? Nothing bad, she replied fast. Sure. Is everything okay? Totally. Bring coffee and a good excuse to leave work early. I didn't have to wait long. She knocked about half an hour later, coffee in hand and nerves all over her face. Hi, she said. Hi. I smiled. Come in. She stepped inside, cautious. You're prettier than I remembered, I said as she set the drinks down. Oh, thanks. Don't be shy. I get it. Get what? The texts, I said. The way you talk to him. She froze. I didn't mean anything by ... I'm not mad, I said calmly. At all. She stared at me, confused. I just think I added. Stepping closer, if you're going to flirt with him, you should do it properly. She blinked. What does that mean? Means, I said, brushing her hair back, I have a proposition. Then I kissed her. Soft, intentional, unapologetic. When I pulled away, she didn't move, which meant I was right. Her lips parted, breath shallow, eyes locked on mine, like she wasn't sure if she was dreaming or if she just hadn't woken up yet. I brushed my hand down her arm. You're okay? I said gently. You don't have to do anything. She swallowed. But you kissed me. I nodded, and I meant it. Her gaze searched mine for something. Doubt, permission, maybe both. I leaned in and kissed her again. This time, she didn't hesitate. I felt her body soften into mine, her hand drifting to mine. Her hand drifting to my waist. When I eased her shirt upward, she raised her arms without a word. Her skin was warm, and the delicate lace bra beneath made me wonder if she'd worn it just in case. I didn't ask. I lifted the shirt over her head, fingers grazing her back as the fabric slipped free. Her bra followed, then the rest, one layer at a time until she was stretched out. Nothing left between us. I took my time. My lips moved over her collarbone, down to her chest, tracing slow lines along her ribs. Her stomach, the soft inside of her thigh. Her breathing quickened with every inch, fingers tightening against the sheets. When I moved lower, right where she needed me, she was already trembling. I didn't rush. I just listened to her breathing, the quiet sounds she couldn't hold in. Her hips lifted slightly as I learned what made her breathe like that. Her back tensed, hands gripped the bedding, then she let go, quietly, completely, every part of her giving in at once. I stayed there a moment, resting my head near her hip as she gently tangled her fingers in my hair. That was, she whispered. Breath uneven. I know, I murmured. Just breathe. The room stayed still for a while. I eventually sat up, trailing my fingertips along her side. She turned toward me, cheeks still warm. I've never done anything like that. I smiled. You? Handled it beautifully. She laughed under her breath. You're dangerous. Not really, I said, tilting my head. Just generous. She hesitated. Can I? I didn't answer. I just leaned back and let my straps slide off my shoulder. She understood. Her touch started light, exploring my collarbone, my waist. Following the shape of me, learning. She kissed me again, slower, more certain. Then she slipped my top off and let her hands roam, memorizing every detail. I laid back, watching, letting her explore. When she reached my stomach, she paused. I gave her a nod. She kissed just below my navel, then followed the line downward with her lips. I felt the warm brush of her breath, then her tongue. My hand drifted into her hair. She started gently, still learning, but every sound I made gave her direction. And she kept going. I let go completely. My head tilted back, breathing quickening, tension building. I curled forward as everything hit at once. The sheets tight in my grip. A sound escaping I couldn't keep in. She crawled back up beside me. Glowing. We didn't speak. No need. We stayed there, the sheets tangled at our waists. Told you I had a proposition, I murmured, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. She smiled. Thought you meant like coffee. I was about to answer when the front door opened downstairs. She stiffened. I didn't. I met her gaze with a calm smile. Relax, I said. This part's for him. Footsteps climbed the stairs. A moment. Later, Mark appeared in the doorway. His eyes went wide. I sat up slowly, still bare, the heat of everything we'd shared clinging to my skin. I looked right at him, then patted the space beside us. Come here, baby, I said softly. You're gonna love this. He stood there like he'd walked into a dream he wasn't sure he belonged in. I walked to him, slow and bare, the warmth of Sarah's mouth still humming under my skin. I didn't say a word. I just kissed him soft, sure, inviting. He didn't move at first. But when I unbuttoned his shirt and pushed it from his shoulders, he let it fall. When I knelt to undo his belt, he breathed in sharply. I stood, took his hand, and led him to the bed. He followed wide-eyed and silent. Sarah was already lying back, hair tousled, watching him with a mixture of curiosity and nerves. I looked at her. Help me, I said. She nodded and moved closer. I kissed his neck as she moved down on him. He gasped the moment she reached him, grabbing the sheets, his chest lifting beneath my touch. It's okay, I whispered in his ear. Let's take care of you. His body twitched under her breath, catching. He looked at me, stunned. I kissed him again, deeper, steadying him as she continued. His hand found my back. I stroked his hair and whispered, You're doing so well. His head tilted back. He moaned softly, a broken, helpless sound. Sarah looked up. Her lips were wet, her eyes wide. I smiled. Now it's your turn. Lie back, I said gently. Sarah stretched out across the bed, breath shallow, legs parting. Just enough. She looked up at him, uncertain. He's nervous, I told her. So are you, but you both want this. I turned to Mark, reached for his hand, and whispered, She wants you. Go to her. He nodded slowly, climbing over her with care. She reached up as he settled above her, her hands trembling. I knelt beside them and ran my hand along his back. Take your time, I whispered. She reached for him. Their bodies met. He froze. I leaned in close. It's okay. She can take you. His hips eased forward and Sarah moaned, her grip tightening. At his sides, She's more than ready for you. I whispered into his shoulder. See how she holds you? He began to move, slow and steady, and Sarah gasped. I climbed over her carefully, one knee at a time. Positioning myself just above her mouth, he paused to adjust, making room for me. And then her lips began to move, and I felt her. I gasped, dropping my hands to his chest as he thrust deeper. And I leaned in to kiss him, our mouths meeting just above the tension building between us. You're inside her, I whispered between kisses, and she's inside me. Can you feel us both? He nodded, his breath shaking, lost between the two of us. Eventually, I slid off and let them breathe. Your turn, I said to Sarah, guiding her. Up, take control. She climbed on top of him, then eased herself down, breath-catching as she settled. His head fell back, eyes wide, hands finding her hips. She started to move, slow, cautious. Nice and easy, I murmured, sitting beside them. Let it build. Sarah found her rhythm, rocking gently, her hair falling forward. I kissed his cheek, stroked his chest, watched his muscles tighten under her. She's beautiful like this, I whispered. Isn't she? He didn't answer. Couldn't he was breathing too fast, blinking like he couldn't believe it was real? Sarah picked up speed, his hands moving along her sides, barely holding on. I leaned close, kissed his neck, whispered in his ear, taken, loved. That's what you are right now. His mouth parted again. Sarah gasped above him, her breath matching his. I watched them both, his jaw clenching, her body rising and lowering in perfect rhythm. I saw it building. His hands tightened around her waist, his breath caught. His legs shifted beneath her. He's close, I whispered. Sarah didn't stop. She kept moving, keeping him right there. I cupped his face in my hands, kissed him hard. "Finish him, baby," I whispered to her. Sarah dropped down once more, her breath unsteady. His whole body tensed, his head pressed back into the mattress, his fingers locking around her, a sound escaping his throat. Half breath, half surrender. And then he let go. Sarah collapsed on top of him. I curled up beside them, brushing his damp hair from his forehead. His eyes finally opened. I kissed him once, slow, deep, and full of every promise I just kept. Then I whispered, "That's what you get for being such a good husband. Be honest. If you walked in and saw that, would you hesitate or jump right in? What would you do in his place? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading. And if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for being here.